Boom. Rolling.
Boom.
Ooh. Hey guys, and welcome to the Nostalgia Effect Podcast, the movie where
we
talk
examine
about
our
podcasts.
childhoods through the lens
of a podcast.
of a podcast.
That's our new intro.
Damn.
Not even gonna change that. Today we're talking about one of my favorite movies from childhood.
Come on and jam and welcome. I don't know.
No, it's Come On and Slam and
Damn
Welcome to the Jam.
You don't know nothing.
I know.
You're a fake fan.
Oh shit.
We're talking Looney Tunes and Michael Jordan.
The
in
90s, baby.
Space Jam. And Space Jam 2 has been announced for 2021 with LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get excited.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel.
I don't know. I don't care. I don't care about basketball. This is the only basketball I care about. And I come from Hoosiers.
You come from Hoosiers?
She does.
I am a
She does.
Hoosier.
She comes
Oh,
from
I am a
that's right.
Hoosier.
Okay.
Two Hoosiers.
And anytime I meet somebody and I'm like, I'm from Indiana, or they see my ID and they're like, oh, you're from Indiana? You like basketball? I'm like, no. I don't know anything about basketball
no.
except Space Jam.
You know, I think when you said that you were from Indiana, I think all I said was, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry too. But before we talk about some space and some jams, because there are some jams in this
there is
space,
some jams.
we're going to talk about some James Bond.
There you go.
The new James Bond, to be specific.
No time to
die. James Bond 25.
Oh, yeah.
The last James Bond with Daniel Craig. I see Johnny's like stroking his beard there. I see.
I'm very excited, even though like I'm missing like the key piece of Daniel Craig's James Bond because I haven't seen Skyfall.
Right, because you've seen Casino Royale.
I've seen Casino Royale.
You've seen Quantum of Solace.
I've seen Quantum Solace.
Not seen Skyfall.
I've not seen Skyfall.
But you have seen Spectre.
Yep.
Oh my god.
I know.
You disgust me, sir.
I know. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, I've seen none of them.
Yeah, you haven't seen any
James Bond, right?
I think I've seen one James Bond, but sometimes I get it mixed up with Indiana Jones.
Well,
What?
those are different
Those
films.
are two completely different movies.
What happened? Did somebody try to take somebody else's heart out with their bare hands in the
No.
James Bond film that you saw?
No, it is the scene when it's the scene in I believe it's in the first Indy when he's on the boat and he's dressed like in the uniform. I think I conflate that with a James Bond movie where he's like in a hangar, but it's like a submarine. And he's like sneaking around a submarine deck or something. There's like a big body of water.
Was it like an older James Bond movie?
Yes.
Okay. Who was Bond?
I don't remember. See, that's why I'm like, I think I may have just been an Indiana
Harrison
Jones
Ford
movie.
was James Bond in that film.
The best Bond in my opinion.
The best. Yeah, he was very good. His accent was not convincing, but you know, he's so handsome.
Yeah, I feel like there's a James Bond movie. It's a James Bond movie where he's like sneaking around this like underground.
Are you sure it wasn't
submarine
Austin
thing.
Powers?
Is there a scene like that in Austin Powers?
Yeah, I mean Austin Powers is just spoof.
I know,
James
but
Bond.
I feel like I don't
There is
remember
definitely-
anything about the first Austin Powers movie. That's the only Austin Powers movie that I've seen.
Honestly, there's a number of James Bond films where he's sneaking around in some kind of vessel or underground.
Well, he's not
or-
in a submarine. He's in like a hangar. It's like an underground hangar. There's rock walls. There's like boxes, like not storage boxes, but like crates. And he's sneaking around those. But there's this big body of water in the middle where a submarine comes up.
Again, Austin Powers.
Okay, then maybe it was Austin Powers.
or
Or a number of
or
James Bond.
Kingsman. Or
It was not Kingsman because I remember this from childhood.
Oh,
and I
yeah.
remember this before ever watching Kingsman.
Story checks.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that is definitely not Indiana Jones.
No.
Yeah.
But anyways, you haven't seen any James Bond.
I feel like I should have at some point in my life. I just don't
Yeah.
remember because
Yeah.
my dad is a big James Bond fan. He just hasn't watched any of the Daniel Craig ones, but he's watched a lot of, if not most of the originals. I just don't remember watching or having like him sit me down and watch any of them with him.
Yeah.
But I
Interesting.
feel like I may have seen glimpses of them at one point in my life. But maybe it's just me putting Harrison Ford in there and be like, it's Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
I mean, it is weird that you haven't seen any James Bond, or like, have you seen clips? I mean, like, you're
I've seen like shots, like that shot from Goldfinger of the girl laying on the bed.
all painted gold
Yeah.
and everything. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, so like me personally, I always thought that James Bond was a really cool idea, but I didn't care for any of the movies because they're kind of cheesy.
I mean, the especially the earlier ones.
The earlier ones, yeah, but they're kind of cheesy. The action is fine. It really bothered me that he seemed more interested in women than in his mission. They are a product of their time in a bad way.
Yeah.
In my opinion. And they're also super formulaic.
But I love cheesy movies. I feel like I would enjoy like a cheesy spy movie.
But I never know if they're supposed to be
purposely cheesy.
Yeah, like purposely cheesy and campy, or if they just happen to be because they're not well made.
Right.
You know? I just, it's from, with exception to George Lazenby, who was only James Bond in one film on Her Majesty's Secret Service, I never believed the physicality of any of the other James Bonds. He's the only one that I believed could actually do any of the things that he does.
I would say except for Daniel Craig.
Well, yes, until Daniel Craig.
See,
Daniel Craig is when James Bond made sense to me.
Yeah.
And I loved Casino Royale.
I feel like, especially with these new trailers for No Time to Die, it feels like they're trying to be Mission Impossible movies, and I feel like that might be what turns me off. I love Mission Impossible. I love the Mission Impossible series, but I feel like it's trying to be Mission Impossible, James Bourne, not necessarily James Bourne, but more Mission Impossible.
Jason Bourne.
Yes.
So,
see, I've never watched one of those movies because I don't care.
The first one I really, really liked. The first Jason Bourne film I really liked. The rest...
The Bourne Identity.
Blah. But the first one was really good. And I feel like that movie did very much so inspire the reboot that was Casino Royale in a very good way.
Yeah.
It made it sort of gritty. It made Bond more of what he was in the books. Because I've read the books. And Bond is very much so...
Of course you have.
Yeah.
Bond is very much so, like, kind of a violent... I don't want to say violent brute, but he feels like Daniel Craig's James Bond. This kind of cold, kind of emotionless... Not necessarily the charmer that we all know, but just like kind of a brutal killer. And because he has to be. Because I mean, that's what his deal is. And so I always kind of felt like Daniel Craig really, really got it. And he looks like somebody who's been punched in the face a lot. And could take it, you know? And
is it just because Daniel Craig just looks like an asshole and would get punched in the face?
No. He looks like a boxer. He's got like a boxer's nose.
He does have like a boxer's build too.
Yeah, just kind of, and like sort of this like sort of leonine sort of walk, sort of swagger and everything. And he's got sort of like a hard face that's seen like a lot of cruelty.
He's got a weathered face.
Weathered.
And so I thought Daniel Craig in Casino Royale was the first time I was like, finally, James Bond is cool. This is what I've been wanting from James Bond. None of this other bullshit. And then Quantum of Solace was like, yeah, this is fine. This is whatever. And then Skyfall was amazing. Spectre was a massive disappointment. Which brings me to No Time to Die. It looks like such a hard sequel from Spectre that I'm worried on that alone. Because I really didn't care for Spectre. Spectre was like a return to all the bad form of the classic James Bonds. The fact that he takes down a plane with a handgun really pissed me off. The fact that like in Casino Royale, we see him worry about his own safety when he's doing the things that he's doing, and like he feels human, he bleeds, he hurts, he's scared, and like that torture scene where he realizes for the first time, bigger picture, it's not about me. And I'm going to let all of this happen because I need to let it happen as part of my mission. That guy who's strapped to the chair naked, getting his balls busted, literally, is not the guy...
She's never seen the movie.
She'll forget.
That's true.
All the hard drinking that she does. That man, and then the man at the end of Spectre, who literally jumps off a building with no compunction about like what's going to happen because it's all part of like a plan that he's figured out. Really, really bothered me. There's just at no point is he concerned. At no point does he sort of feel or bleed or anything. And it's I just could not stand Spectre any less. And this looks like a direct sequel to that, and that worries me.
Interesting.
Although I know that Cary Fukunaga has directed it.
Yeah.
I've not seen any of his work, but I've heard nothing but good things about like True Detective.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, I don't know a lot of people saw it, but the people who saw it liked it. That Idris Elba child soldier movie that he did for Netflix.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. I forget the name.
I forgot the name of that too. But like that was the first time I think a Netflix thing was sort of talked about for like awards contention.
Aquarius. Is that it?
No, I think you're thinking of Invictus, which is the Clint Eastwood rugby movie.
Matt Damon.
Yeah. Which was also a very good film. I cannot remember what this movie
Beast of No Nation.
Beasts of No Nation, that's the one, yeah. So I'm kind of interested to see what he does because I've heard only good things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But also Danny Boyle left this movie. You know, he was supposed to direct it, and then he left.
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
that
makes me less excited.
This is the first time I've ever been like interested in a James Bond movie because
Really?
the fact that they are getting a female Bond.
a female 00.
Yeah. So
I do like the.
I'm interested in seeing
None
that
other than
aspect.
Maria Rambeau from Captain Marvel.
And I loved her in that movie.
She was great.
She was great.
Yeah.
And now we'll hear her with her real accent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She looks great in these trailers too.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. I like Bond movies. They're just I don't know. They're kind of like just, especially these Daniel Craig ones. I've liked a lot. So I'm excited for this one. You know.
Yeah.
Did you like Spectre?
I thought it was whatever. Honestly, I kind of like forget a lot of it. I love the beginning. That's the part. Is that Mexico?
Mexico, yeah, that big long shot.
I love that. That's all super cool. But the rest of the movie was whatever.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I refuse to see that movie again. Like as once I left the theater, I was like, what was that about?
You're not gonna rewatch it again before.
I don't want to watch that movie again. But I will say, I think you're right. Spectre. So, Casino Royale was its own deal and was wonderful, and then Quantum of Solace was. I mean, part of its problem was it came out during the writer's strike. Like it was in production during the writer's strike, and so like any rewrites and fixes and stuff, it was like Daniel Craig and the director, whose name I can't remember, Mark. Forster, who were like rewriting scenes, and Daniel Craig even said like, I shouldn't be writing scenes, I'm not a writer.
Yeah.
And then Skyfall is brilliant, and Skyfall, Sam Mendes borrowed a lot of The Dark Knight for Skyfall. Like a ton of stuff. Like you look at it and you see, oh yeah, this dude stayed up late watching Dark Knight every night and then went to work the next day and directed a James Bond film. And what's funny is sort of the dragon eating its own tail. Christopher Nolan based a lot of his Batman stuff on James Bond. Like Lucius Fox is his Q, and sort of like the quips that they have back and forth, the fact that he's like, you know, this jet-sitting handsome guy with all this special tech and gear and stuff like, and Nolan borrowed a lot from James Bond for Batman. So it's funny that then James Bond, funny that Bond would then borrow from Batman.
Yeah.
But then Spectre felt like it borrowed a lot from the Tom Cruise Mission Impossible films, which I have found to be largely disposable. You know, like I haven't loved them nearly as much as everybody else has.
I enjoy half of them. There's 6 of them right now, I believe, and they're making 7 and 8 currently.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So I've only liked half. I think that's 3 for 3. I think it's like, I like Mission Impossible 1.
That's great.
Mission Impossible
that's my
3.
Yeah.
That's the Brad Bird one, right? 3 or 4?
4 is Brad Bird. 3 was J.J. Abrams.
3 was the one where there was like too much of too much.
There was 3 had like 3 movies in it. All 3 of those movies probably would have been good, but all 3 together, not so much.
Yeah, because I think there was like just everything on top of everything on top of everything for 3.
Number 2 was a John Woo like kung fu action movie.
Yeah, I liked 1. I liked the Brad Bird one, which I think was 4, and then I liked 5. I believe is the
Rogue Nation.
Yeah, that's the one where they like walk up the building. No, that's the Brad Bird one.
That's the Burj Al Khalifa when he's.
See, they're all the same movie.
They blend.
Yeah, no, they do. I don't know which ones I've seen, honestly.
Yeah, I've seen all of them. I've seen the last 3 multiple times. Because they're on TV all the time.
I love the action scenes in the Brad Bird one. The story in that movie is bullshit.
Yeah.
But the action scenes are so good.
Yeah.
However,
I don't think I liked the last one as much as everyone else. Everyone else really loved 6.
Oh, yeah.
And I was not a huge fan. I think we're the only 2 people I know that really did not like 6.
I had strong exceptions to 6.
Yeah, I think
That
5.
Fallout?
Five.
Fallout, yeah, they all
Yeah.
sound the same.
Yeah, they
too.
do have very similar
Yeah.
names.
Because 4, which was Ghost Protocol, I think. There's like the entire third act of that movie because I was watching it like last year or something with Sarah, and she loves the Tom Cruise Mission Impossible films. And we were watching it, and then we got to the point of like the third act, and I was like, oh my God, there's an entire section. I saw this movie in theaters, and I did not remember any of this, you know. And then I really liked Rogue Nation. Actually, I liked Rogue Nation a lot.
Yeah.
And then that's
4.
5.
5.
Nobody knows.
And then
there's no way to know.
There's no way to know. It's like the Fast and the Furious movies. There's just no way to know what you're talking about because they're all called Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
And then
They're the saga now.
yeah, but then 6 really is frustratingly stupid on so many levels.
Oh
Like,
yeah, I
there's
was just like,
there's no reason to do a Halo jump into Paris. You could just drive in. You know, like there's just like
yeah, they were just doing shit for the sake of giving Tom Cruise
of
stunts
doing shit
to do.
of like crazy stunts to do.
Yeah, and
hurt
Christopher
himself.
McQuarrie was already talking about like all of the crazy stunts he
Yeah.
has planned for Tom Cruise for 7 and 8, and I'm like, okay, because he's like, oh, we're not going to space yet, but I have all of these crazy stunts planned for 7 and 8,
Yeah.
and we'll probably go to space in 9.
Yeah.
I'm like, God damn.
You know that Tom Cruise is going to die on the set of one of these.
Oh yeah,
Like,
he's already he's already broken multiple bones.
Yeah.
Multiple
yeah.
times.
These Mission Impossible movies are just like excuses for Tom Cruise
To do crazy
to
shit.
do
Yeah.
fucking crazy
Yeah.
shit. Yeah.
Like that's all he does anymore. It's like it's this
Yeah.
and then Top Gun, where he's flying planes and doing crazy shit. I think that's all he does anymore.
See, I when Tom Cruise the actor shows up, because he's just being Tom Cruise in these movies.
Yeah.
When Tom Cruise the actor shows up in something like Live, Die, Repeat, that's when I'm really happy to see him because that
I
was a
still
good
need to
movie.
watch that.
That is really
it's
good.
so good.
I mean, it's Emily Blunt. I gotta watch.
and it's
Emily
Tom
Blunt.
Cruise playing a character. Because
Yeah.
Ethan Hunt, I don't know what his character is. I
No.
don't know who
It's
he
just Tom
is.
Cruise.
He's just Tom Cruise doing
Yeah.
Tom.
Well,
Running.
he's different. I feel like, especially in the first like 4 up till the Brad Bird, it's like he's a different character.
Totally
He's a
different.
different person, just named Ethan Hunt in
Yeah.
the first 4, and then once it gets to the Christopher McQuarrie ones, he's kind of the same person because they all kind of have a same
Yeah.
through line.
Yeah.
And there's like a storyline where it kind of gets that feeling of these new James Bond movies
Yeah.
to kind of bring it back full circle.
Yeah.
This is like its own little habitat of Christopher McQuarrie, Mission Impossible.
Right.
This is Ethan Hunt.
Right.
But he still is kind of like, he's just got this name and he just goes on missions and does crazy stunts.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any personality except for he's traumatized by the fact that he lost his wife.
But did he? Because didn't she come back?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember.
She's
There's-
like,
Nobody knows. There's no way to find out.
yeah.
Oh, that's right. She came back because she was in Fallout.
Yeah.
That's the whole reason they go to that
Spoiler
base that
alert.
blows up. It's been out
Wow.
for a year and a half, Johnny.
Wow.
It takes him a little bit of time.
I'm gonna get there. All right. Jesus.
It doesn't matter if it's spoiled. You're going to forget.
That's very true.
And your mind will be just as blown when you see her.
But yeah, I'm and then also I think Leah Seydoux or whatever her name is, the blonde girl with the
Yeah.
gap teeth in the
French girl.
in this the French girl in this
French?
yeah in this new James Bond. I swear to God was in one of the James Bond or one of the Mission Impossibles, which also gets me confused.
Ah, yes. Maybe.
I
don't
think
so.
she was in the one wherever they have to like the Mission Impossible where they have to like go underwater and hack like a computer that's underwater.
Fuck yeah. Fuck
That's
yeah.
the one after the Brad Bird one.
That's Rogue Nation. Is that what
5.
happens in that one?
Ghost Protocol.
No, that's 4. Oh my God.
Nobody
This-
cares. This is going off the rails.
Is it on a
We're not even supposed to be talking about Mission Impossible. We're talking about fucking James Bond. And we're not even really supposed to be talking about that.
Which is really all I am is excited for the Kingsman, and I want it to come out now so I can see it because I don't want to sit through another Mission Impossible or James Bond film. I want more Kingsman.
Wait, not Ana de Armas.
No.
Okay, because she's top billed on No Time to Die's IMDb page.
Well, that's because she's beautiful
Amazing.
and amazing and everything.
And her name starts with 2 A's.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's billed by popularity.
I know.
But she's amazing in Knives Out.
Yeah.
I'm like obsessed with
But
her.
so is Daniel Craig. That was the first time I think I've ever seen him have so much fun in a role.
God,
He was
I
so
can't.
good.
That was another one that Johnny had pitched today for Talkin Trailers, was the new Knives Out sequel.
Oh, the fact that we got
yeah.
confirmation of Ryan Johnson and
Which
Daniel
I was
Craig.
so excited. Like,
I know.
Like after, like as the credits were rolling, I was like, "Please tell me we're gonna get more Benoit Blanc because I need to see more mysteries with
Oh
him."
yeah,
This
no,
is-
that's good. I'm pretty excited.
She was in the Brad Bird one, Ghost Protocol.
Who was?
The
Leah-
gap tooth girl.
Oh, she was.
The
Oh
gap
yeah,
tooth-
but like a really short role, and that's why I get confused because she just feels.
Yeah.
I'm done talking about this. I want to talk about Knives Out.
Let's talk about Knives Out.
Oh, it's so good.
We're just doing. This is a Daniel Craig Talkin Trailers. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm fine.
Oh, it's a donut hole inside of a larger donut hole.
I will let you know I have that pre-ordered for Blu-ray
Hell
because I do kind of want to rewatch. I said after I watched it, I'm like, I don't know if I really want to watch this again. I think I
Really?
got everything, but then I was like, you know what? I've been wanting to rewatch this.
It's so
again.
much fun.
And then you
It
need
is.
to, and then you also need to listen to Ryan Johnson's commentary
Mm-hmm.
because I did the thing where you download the commentary and listen to it as you watch it in theaters.
what?
Yeah,
What?
he's done this a few times.
What the fuck is this?
He did it, I think, I know he did it for Looper. I think he did it for Brothers Bloom. But basically, like, he records a commentary, which you can download on your phone.
From
and then
where?
The internet. Like, from the website of the movie.
That's so weird.
And so he records the commentary, you download it to your phone, go into the movie theater with your headphones, and then there's like special instructions about when to start the commentary. So you just press play, and then you hear Ryan Johnson talk to you as you're watching the movie in the theater.
That's fucking trippy.
It was well,
But
it
is
was.
it the same commentary that will be on the Blu-ray?
I think so. Maybe.
I hope so.
I mean, because it was. I mean, I think so. I don't see why they would do it again unless
Yeah.
you like. It's like him and somebody else doing
Yeah.
I've
another
never
commentary.
heard of this.
Yeah, and it was great. What was really weird and what very trippy is I feel like movies are one of the last few places where everybody in this busy, distracted world can all go for like a shared experience. And here I was in this movie theater full of people having a completely different experience than everybody else.
Wait, is that how you watched it the first time?
No, second time.
Okay, I was
Okay.
like, that makes no sense. My head was exploding right now.
Yeah,
I was like, wait a
Why?
minute.
Why would you distract yourself while watching this movie that you need to be watching?
I no. That's why. But
Okay.
the funny thing was, is as much as I was enjoying listening to him talk about this movie and all the interesting facts that I was getting from him, at the same time I was like, I kind of also just want to watch this movie again.
Yeah.
It's so good. But it was so. Watch the commentary, listen to
Yeah.
the commentary, and
Oh
watch
no,
the movie.
that'll
a bunch
probably
of
be the
times.
first thing I'll do now when I get that Blu-ray is
Like
do the
like
commentary.
he talked about how Steve Yedlin, who owns his own special effects house, created a bunch of plugins to mimic like film for this film, which they shot digitally, which was the first time either one of them had done anything digitally.
Yeah.
And they added film grain, gate weave, halation, like everything. Like they did a lot of work to make this look like it was shot on film. And then they also like, and then you've seen this where they
the
cut
window.
out like stencils of like windows to put over the lights.
Yeah,
and
I
stuff.
think.
So like,
Did you send that to me or did I send that to you?
I think I sent it to you because a friend
Yeah.
of mine sent it to me.
Yeah, it was so cool.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just he's such a like Ryan Johnson's such a nerd in the best way possible, and I desperately hope I get to meet him one day. I love that movie so much.
It's such a good movie.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I'm
it's
so
fun.
excited for sequels.
yeah. I'm oh man.
Well, I think Ryan Johnson said that his like proposed sequels will all be kind of like anthology esque,
Yeah.
but it's all following Daniel Craig's character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think would be really cool.
Because he's basically like a Poirot or a Miss
Yeah.
Marple or whoever. He's
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking of, like the Orient Express movies that they were desperately trying to make a series, but that totally failed at the box office. The
No,
new
they were
one,
still gonna think about. They're still
doing
is that-
another
Well, they were talking
Kenneth
about
Branagh
it.
one?
They were talking about it. I don't know if they're
because
actually
I
going
don't,
to.
I did not enjoy that movie very much.
Oh, I liked it, but
I
And-
liked it. I thought it was
I'm a
fun.
Poirot fan, and I thought he did a really
Is
good
he
job.
a character like Sherlock Holmes?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Agatha
there's
Christie.
a book character.
So
Okay.
Agatha
Yeah.
Christie
Okay.
created Hercule Poirot, the Belgian detective, and then she also created Miss Marple, who's like a nice little old grandma lady kind of like a Jessica Fletcher in a way.
These names, I mean,
Jessica Fletcher was Angela Lansbury in Murder, She Wrote.
Okay.
Okay.
And-
You could have just said
things.
Murder, She Wrote.
and she's done Agatha Christie wrote other novels,
I
but
know,
those
yeah.
were her like constant
Gotcha.
returning characters.
Okay, that makes sense.
And David Suchet played Poirot for a long time and was really great.
Oh, it was a TV show?
It was a TV. Well, it wasn't really a TV show. I think it was like a string of TV movies, essentially like specials. You know?
Yeah.
I see. But they're all trying
BBC,
to
were
make.
they BBC? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're
That
trying
makes
to
sense.
make more in that world with these characters.
'Cause
Yeah.
I liked Murder on the Orient Express. I thought
it was
Branagh
alright.
did a good job. I thought he did a great job
Yeah.
as Poirot.
I don't know. I vaguely I think I watched that movie after working an early shift at H&M,
Yeah.
then going straight from there to my PA job for 6 hours,
Yeah.
and then going to watch Murder on the Orient Express. And this was back when I was like going to the movie and then staying up until 3 a.m. to film and edit the video to get it up the next day.
Right.
So I don't remember much about it. I just remember I was not a huge fan.
Sarah, so we saw that and another movie like back to back, and that was the second film, and Sarah was like falling asleep, and she fell asleep during like the big reveal,
Yeah.
and then woke
I
up,
think
and then
I
she
had
was annoyed
guessed-
that the movie didn't make sense, and I was like, well, because you fell asleep.
Well, no, I think I had guessed that was coming, and I was just like, I think halfway through I was like, fuck this, I'm out. Like, I kind of shut my brain off because I was
Yeah.
like, I know what's going to happen at the end. I'm not going to spoil what's going to happen
Yeah.
for Johnny if he ever wants to.
No, he saw it.
I said I liked it.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about Knives Out.
No.
But like, I'm not going to spoil it for anybody else who hasn't seen it because it
Right.
is an interesting reveal.
Well, I mean,
and
it's
you
the
don't-
whole point of the movie.
It's
Yeah.
also like one of the most famous reveals of all time. That was
Yeah,
because
well, like I went into that movie not knowing anything about it, and like I knew that he was a character, and I was like, I kind of want to see Kenneth Branagh play this larger than life esque character that he seems it from this trailer. But halfway through the movie, I was like, I know what's gonna. I can already tell what's gonna happen. They just kind of telegraph the entire ending, and I was like, I'm out. Sorry, and I kind of just like zoned out. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about Space Jam.
So, we've all seen this at one point in our
Yes,
lives.
it has been quite a long time for me. I don't know about you guys. Well, you owned it.
I owned it on VHS.
As did I. That was the last time I saw it.
Yeah,
was when I owned it on
own
VHS.
it now currently on VHS and Steelbook Blu-ray.
Nice.
Although Michael Jordan looks orange on
God,
the.
He looks so weird.
I hate the Steelbook, but it was $5. I'm not complaining. It was also on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I still watch this movie at least once a year.
Really?
Yes.
Is there like a specific time of year that you
Nope.
watch it?
I'm just like, I want to watch Space Jam.
That's so. It's so weird. Just
This was one of my favorite movies as a child.
I mean, same. This is like huge.
Oh yeah, this was huge.
Yeah.
This was
This was
everybody's
fucking
favorite.
I think I owned the soundtrack at one point.
Yep.
It may still be at my parents' house, but I like looped that thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was never into hip hop as a kid,
Yeah.
but I fucking loved this
That's
soundtrack.
hilarious.
Well, and it's kind of like it's hip hop, but it's also like adult contemporary R&B in a
Yeah.
weird way. Yeah.
I mean-
my favorite song on the soundtrack was the Monstar rap, which you only hear for 30 seconds in the movie.
Yeah.
Like not even 30 seconds.
But I mean, yeah, and that's.
And the Bugs Bunny Elmer Fudd Daffy Duck rap.
Oh yeah.
That's not even in the movie. I think it's in the credits.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and that's funny because that Monstar song is actually a really good song, and we have a lot of really good rappers, like
it is
top tier
good.
rappers,
Really?
on the
Oh
track.
yeah,
yeah,
Chris
It's-
Rock is in one of the songs too.
Well,
he's in
that's-
Basketball Jones.
That's
isn't
that
he?
basketball. Yeah, he's doing.
He's
which-
the high pitch. I got a Basketball Jones.
No,
Really?
he's doing the. I mean, I'm sure he sings it at times too, but it's like Barry White,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and then it's Chris Rock, and he's doing like the jokes, which don't really pop up in the movie, but they do.
It's in the soundtrack. If you
but doing
have the soundtrack,
yeah.
there is the soundtrack is on Spotify, but it's not the full one. They do not have the Bugs Bunny rap or the Monster
The
rap
Monstars
available
rap,
on Spotify.
Are they like grayed out or something?
They're grayed out. Mhm.
You know, it's so funny because this movie was huge. It was it landed and made a giant ass crater. Like it was
Oh, yeah.
a huge movie. And I remember, I think it was one of the few times I was really aware of a movie just sort of being an unexpected runaway success.
Yeah.
And I remember the soundtrack was also a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
But I was not as aware. Like I didn't go that deep I
Yeah.
loved the movie. I owned the movie, but I did not get into the soundtrack.
I think the soundtrack was like the first CD that I bought on my own, like with my money.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
I bought it for $2 at a consignment shop.
You had a CD player at that time? I feel
Actually,
didn't.
I think I had. I'm thinking about this now. I had the cassette, and then I bought the CD later. Yeah.
I thought I had it on my iTunes because back in the day when iTunes was still a thing and I was downloading music from iTunes to my iPod, I downloaded the album, but it's not on my iTunes, and I'm really upset about that.
Wow.
That's the digital locker for you.
It's got to be somewhere. I have it digitally somewhere. It has to be.
Yeah, because when did this movie come out? So this
94,
95? 96. Came out in 96.
Yes, November 15th, 1996.
So I was 11. You guys were 6.
Yes, but this was huge because
Yeah.
I mean, and see now when I really think about it, like I don't know what came first, Space Jam or my love of Looney Tunes.
Oh.
Ooh.
Like I really
Chicken
don't know.
and
Yeah,
the
exactly.
egg.
I don't know. All I know is that afterwards,
But did you ever watch Looney Tunes in Spanish? Like,
yeah,
Yeah, you did.
like
Yeah.
before then?
I think so. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's because 96 is like,
That's when your memories really start to
yeah,
develop.
that's when things are starting to form. So like I don't. Really
I remember my entire life.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but you have like a very strange memory.
So I don't know. Like I'm saying, I don't know if this. I don't know what came before, but all I know is that I love the Looney Tunes, and I didn't really like. It was the '90s, and I remember Michael Jordan being a huge deal, and basketball being big. I didn't really like get into basketball until a little bit later, like in terms of like watching it at least, or being a fan of the sport. So
So you're
like,
more of a baseball guy, aren't you?
yeah. I mean, in terms of sports, I mean, I like sports, but I'm not like a sports guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I like watching them. I'm like, I'm whatever.
This is the extent of my basketball knowledge.
Yeah, I think this is the first time that I learned about basketball. I definitely learned the rules of basketball.
Yeah.
From watching this movie.
I grew up with basketball. Basketball was like everything.
Yeah, from Indiana. Huh?
Yeah, it's like basketball and
Basketball Jones. I love it.
Basketball
It's just so good.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about. Is this a person?
I mean, it is a person.
a basketball Jones. He's basketball Jones.
It's like Leap Day Williams.
You know, for the longest time, I thought that Charles Barkley was Basketball Jones. That was his name.
That was his name.
So I didn't know who Charles Barkley was.
That's fair.
Six Row Me was like, oh, that's
That's
Basketball
Basketball
Jones.
Jones.
Man, this movie's old enough where Charles Barkley was he was like a player.
He was still a player.
He wasn't a retired
Muggsy
commentator.
Bogues.
Yeah.
This is my
little
first
guy.
time. This is my first time knowing who Bill Murray was.
Really?
That also
Yes.
might have been my first exposure to Bill Murray.
I'm pretty sure because I was 11, and so I remember. I think I'd seen.
You
Bill
had
Murray.
probably seen Ghostbusters and all of that stuff already.
Oh,
you had
yes.
probably seen like all the Bill Murray stuff. I was never allowed to watch although my first rated R movie was Caddyshack at like probably 7 because my dad was like, "This is a funny movie. We're gonna watch Caddyshack and it's rated R," but he didn't realize it was rated R until I told him like probably like 12 years ago.
Yeah, I mean the thing is like by this point I'd seen Ghostbusters, Ghostbusters 2, Groundhog Day.
You were familiar with Bill
Yeah, you
Murray.
knew Bill Murray.
I'd been watching Saturday Night Live. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
At 6 and
No, yeah.
6 to probably I would say 10. This is all I knew Bill Murray.
Yeah, probably. Same.
Wow, that's weird. I remember thinking that it was weird that he was in it. Like at the time, like 11-year-old me was like, "Why is he in this movie?"
And he's in it as Bill Murray.
As Bill Murray,
Yeah.
which is doubly weird.
That's something that always confused me was like there are certain people who are themselves, but then there's other characters who like are big celebrities, like Wayne Knight, but he's somebody totally different.
Wayne Knight.
Oh yeah, he is in this.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Newman. 90s, baby!
Steve Poldak.
And he'd already been eaten by a Dilophosaurus by this point.
Yeah.
His career was on the rise.
See, and I hadn't watched Seinfeld either, so this is like
Had you seen Jurassic Park?
no.
Oh wow.
I was not traumatized yet by Jurassic Park or Jaws at this point.
Yeah.
So I had not seen any monster movies. This was the biggest monster movie for me at the time.
Monstar movie.
I definitely remember
Hey.
I had seen Jurassic Park
Yeah.
by the time I saw this one because I was like, hey, it's the guy from Jurassic Park.
yeah.
Well, yeah, to me, it was always, this is what I knew Bill Murray from, this is what I knew Wayne Knight from, and yeah, it was like...
For the longest time, you thought Michael Jordan was an actor and not an athlete.
yeah, I thought he was a baseball player, you guys.
Well, he was for a while at the time, and if I remember, not very good. Like
he played for a season.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Just one season?
Like literally, that's what this movie is about.
Yeah, because it came right after.
Yeah.
He retired in 93, he retired right before the 93-94 season, played baseball for the 94-95 season, and came back for the 96 season.
So this movie was
basketball.
Was basically like the explanation for why he went back to basketball.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
Wow. It's so meta.
Bit on the nose, Joe.
It's pretty good.
Man, I've not seen this movie in forever.
Yeah, right. So the last time you saw it, you were like,
I had it on VHS.
That was so you were like probably
Maybe 12.
12, yeah.
Interesting.
So probably right after it came out is when you last watched it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I knew I was a Looney Tunes fan before.
Yeah.
Like I.
Well,
Oh,
I mean,
yeah, you
at that
definitely
point,
were.
you were
Yeah.
so much older.
You
right?
had memories then, Joe.
Yeah,
did.
at that point.
We were
I-
just forming our memories.
pretty much, yeah. But I do remember, like, I loved Bugs Bunny.
Yeah.
Bugs Bunny was the shit to me.
Hell yeah. Well, this was a time when they were also all like on T-shirts and stuff, looking really gangster, weren't they? All of the Looney Tunes.
Yeah. This is like around the time of the 90s baggy
Yeah,
Jinko. Like
yeah, yeah.
Jinko jeans were just becoming in fashion. I feel like
Maybe I don't.
Yeah.
like Jinkos were like they were at their peak in like 99.
I remember. I was
Yeah.
in high school.
Yeah.
Did you wear Jinkos?
Hell no. But other people
Can you
didn't.
see Joe wearing
No,
Jinkos?
but that'd be
I can
hilarious.
see you wearing Jinkos, but not
Probably.
Joe.
Yeah.
There was a guy called either Kipper. I think his name was Kipper. Maybe Tipper, but I think it was Kipper. And
Tipper's better.
I honestly don't even know if that was his first name or his last name or a nickname. But he went to my high school. He wore those pants. I remember thinking he was a massive tool. And and he was such a dick. And I remember and that was the first time I'd ever seen any pants like that. And it just everything about him made me want to like put his head in the toilet.
Did he have a chain wallet?
I'm sure he did.
Because I feel like you can't have Jinkos without having a chain wallet.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Anyway, I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
Maybe it was for the better because I don't remember what the fuck I was saying.
Well, the last time you'd seen this film.
Oh yeah, I don't remember the last time I've seen this film. Honestly, I do. I do recall like a couple of years ago. It was like its anniversary. Like it's what would it have been?
20th?
20th or 25? I don't fucking know.
25 because it came out in 96.
Yeah. So around that time, there was like articles about it, and they were like, "Oh, it's actually really not a good movie. It's a shitty movie." And I was like, "Wait a minute, what?"
What?
But I never went back and rewatched it. So I am interested. I'm going in it with that in mind. Like,
Yeah.
I can
that-
pinpoint the exact day that I last watched it.
Well,
It was last May after I had bought it on Blu-ray. I was packing up to go visit my parents in Indiana, and I was playing it on the TV. This was on the small TV still before I'd gotten my nice big TV from Joe. And so it was not the best quality picture because it was casting from my phone onto my Chromecast onto my tiny little baby TV. But I remember watching it last May.
wait a minute. Your Blu-ray came with a digital copy?
Yes.
Okay. So I was gonna say, how did you cast from a Blu-ray from your phone to
Yeah.
the TV?
She's got the power.
But then before that, before you bought it on Blu-ray, did you have it on DVD?
I had it on VHS.
And you watched the VHS regularly?
Because I have a VCR.
You have
and
VCR?
I have 2 VCRs now.
What?
I have one that doesn't work and I have one from Joe. Joe gives me all of his hand-me-down used electronics.
There you go.
Like I have a semi-broken Blu-ray player from Joe.
But it also semi-works.
It semi-works. I have to do some work to use it, but it functions.
You know,
Yeah.
just gotta put in
It's
the
a
time.
functional Blu-ray player.
It's 12 years old now. So
Yeah.
The fact
It
that
still
it still
works, though.
works is pretty
Not
impressive.
bad. Not
But yeah,
bad.
I would watch the VHS.
Regularly?
I'm surprised it is not worn out yet, but yes.
Interesting.
Especially certain parts. I'll tell you what. I'm pretty sure anything regarding Lola Bunny has got a little more wear.
I wrote down. I remember Lola Bunny making me feel things.
She makes me feel all funny.
All funny.
There's some cosplayers that do like a Lola Bunny cosplay.
Oh yeah. Oh, I am aware.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know this movie way too well. I still know all of the songs from the soundtrack. I'm vamping while Joe is looking up this little
know.
Lola Bunny cosplay.
I mean,
I don't know if it's gonna work, guys.
the soundtrack. It's funny because I mean maybe it's just like a really good soundtrack. I always just equated it like to being like the first CD that like I bought
Yeah.
and like this movie that I really liked. But I'm surprised, not surprised, I guess, but it's like everybody else also felt that way because the
Yeah.
soundtrack and the music in this was really fucking good.
It slaps.
It slaps!
It slaps.
I don't even know what that means. You've been spending far too much time with certain people. I think that's
wow.
what that is.
Certain people.
Are you trying to say something?
Youngsters. These youngsters over here. Even though you're older than me.
I'm older than you by, like, what, 3 months?
Something like that. So, do we have anything else to say?
I'm really curious to see because I love Looney Tunes. But I'm struck now as like a full grown ass man how strange this movie is. Like the fact that it exists, the idea of it and everything. Like, who thought this was going to be a slam dunk?
And
Hey!
but then it was.
And then it was but it was unexpected. Like I think they thought it'll do fine, and then it did gangbusters.
Yeah.
Instead. But then like other crossovers have not done as well. There was one with Brandon Fraser, right?
Oh yeah, Looney Tunes, Brandon Fraser. I don't know what the movie was.
Yeah, they were, and he was not. Was he a Mountie? I think he was a Mountie, and
I think it was just. I mean, sorry to interrupt, but I think it was just it hit at the right time, and Michael Jordan was such a celebrity.
he was huge. I mean, he was like a cross-platform celebrity.
Yeah, he was huge.
Looney Tunes back in action. That's the name of the
Oh,
movie.
I remember that.
And I do not think that was well received at all.
Yeah, I think it's just that the time.
It was
It's just-
right time, right place.
But yeah, so you guys ready to talk about some space, some jams, some space
some
jam?
space jams. Let's do it.
Let's jam.
And now, our feature presentation.
Doo-doo-doo, we're back. What'd you think, Joe? Johnny?
You know what? Fuck that article that you read because I enjoyed the hell out of watching it. It's like I was laughing
Same.
out loud.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
Not like all the way through it, but like pretty much consistently throughout.
Oh yeah, no.
I think I was trying to watch. I was trying to like step outside of my like
yeah,
my
you're-
nostalgia glasses
Yeah.
and watch this, and I was like, you know,
I can't do it. I try to do the same thing.
I was able to do it for some parts where I was like, this feels like a kids movie because there are so many pratfalls and things that you would see in a
Yes.
kids movie.
Yes.
And I was like so torn between, is this a kids movie? Is this a family movie? Because there's so much stuff that lends it
Right.
to a kids movie.
Right.
But there's also so many jokes that you would get from a Looney Tunes or
Yes.
like something like that for the adults and the family.
yeah.
But also like little things like when he's digging the hole, trying to get to the bottom of the golf course like cup
When,
to,
after Michael gets sucked in.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, what are you doing? Fixing a divot.
He's fixing a divot.
And like that was hilarious.
That was pretty
Or
good.
like when he goes to take the picture of him and he gets sucked into
yeah,
the
and he
hole,
gets
and then he's like,
and then-
"Can you
and
not
then-
point the camera at me?"
What kind of camera is that?
The lid's on.
And like it was like classic Bill Murray
Yeah.
being as
And
Bill Murray.
and Bill Murray
as ever.
talking to the golf ball at the beginning.
Yeah.
He's like, you're my assistant.
Which is funny because, all right, like as an adult, like I'm with all of you. This movie's fucking. I enjoy.
It was
Oh,
hilarious.
yeah.
It was so
love
I
much
think
fun.
if I were giving this like a rating, I would give it like a 2 out of 5 for just like the way it is, but for like nostalgia and hilarity and everything else, I'm like it's a 5 out of 5. I
I
just
would give it a
can't-
B. Like if I saw it in theaters now, I think I would be like, that was pretty good. That was funny. That was a lot
Really?
better than I
Yeah.
thought it was. I'd give it like a solid B if
That's
it was
good.
brand new now.
Yeah.
Seeing it for the first time, I feel like that's what I would do.
Interesting. I cannot. I just can't. I can't
yeah.
critically.
It was so hard
examine
for
this
me
movie.
to like get out of that, but I was forcing myself to. I was like sitting there and like watching it and being like, this is the first time I've seen this movie. I've never watched this movie before.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's some parts where I was like, I'm a little cringe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
there's some. Yeah.
I felt that like in the opening with more on Mountain,
Yeah.
and like all and like the essentially like the introduction of everything.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh no,
Yeah.
and then the movie just immediate, and then like when the dog, the cute bulldog, like
Charles,
tackles
named
him.
after Charles Barkley.
Oh, Barkley. That's a good dog last name, Barkley. But like when that happens, I was kind of like, oh, geez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you notice that when Bugs and Daffy whenever they were in the house
Part of the
and
dog
the
is
dog,
animated?
he looks so like lit differently. He's very blue.
The compositing is different. It's
Yeah.
so like
Yeah.
it's pretty
Like
bad.
when he's in the closet, and then when
They animated over
kids-
part of the dog's face. Too.
Yeah.
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 And when the kids were like telling him to leave, he's like the background is like he's lit blue.
Yeah.
But the background is still blue, but it's like a totally different temperature
yeah.
blue.
Yeah.
I noticed that too.
I did know,
And it really
the
threw
perspective
me
is
off.
off. Too.
Yeah.
That's the only. I think that's really the only point when the sort of the visual effects of the movie kind of fall apart.
Yeah,
around
everything
the
else is
dog.
like, because I was like, when they were doing the Michael Secret stuff and Wayne Knight has the water bottle,
Yeah.
it still looks fully animated when he's like shaking it. I'm like,
Yeah, he's trying
I'm
to
like,
get some-
how did they do that?
motion blur, you know.
Yeah.
And it's funny though because like some of the things that I was really laughing at, sort of like the grown up jokes. I think a little bit,
Yeah.
like how world weary Daffy Duck is.
Yeah.
You know that he's like, do you ever see any of the residuals from
Yeah.
the merchandise? You know, it's like
merchandising.
we're getting screwed.
We're really getting screwed.
And then also later when he's talking to Bill Murray and he's like, "How did you get here?" And he's
like,
like,
"I'm a friend
"I'm
of
a friend
my
of the producer." And he's like, I guess that's how it goes."
This is the first time that I noticed that Ivan Reitman was the producer.
Yep.
which was I
same.
thought a really funny joke.
Yeah.
I had to tell that to Sarah. I was like,
Yeah, because it was like I like looked up and it was like the last credit that came on the screen. It was like Ivan Reitman produced this.
Well, it's the first credit. Well, I don't
Yeah.
know if, but it's in the opening credits
Yeah.
and it says Ivan Reitman and somebody else.
And I knew who Ivan Reitman was at the time, but I totally forgotten his involvement in this movie.
I did not know, and
I
then
didn't- yeah.
that joke, I didn't get that joke.
Yeah, I never like there were so many jokes in this because I was watching it from like more of an adult perspective and like as a never having seen this perspective that I was like, there are so many jokes that I never got here. Like all of the jokes with the like basketball players and stuff and like them being like
That was hilarious. Are you having any other performance?
Performing,
issues?
and
then he's like,
no, I never got that until I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's fucking funny.
She's talking about his penis.
I know.
yeah.
yeah.
I get that joke.
But then I've always loved the line by Muggsy, whatever.
Muggsy Bogues.
Muggsy Bogues.
I'd
where he's
totally
like,
forgotten about some of these guys.
Where
Like
he-
Charles
yeah.
Barkley, of course, I'd not forgotten.
Yeah.
But the other guys,
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, same.
Shaq makes a cameo appearance at the end.
Oh, does he?
He does?
Yeah. Because it's archive footage of when Michael came back and they're
Oh,
playing
yeah.
the Orlando Magic and that's when Shaq played for Orlando.
That's right. But the line where he's just like, it's like, are you telling me I should disrespect my mama?
Oh,
And
yeah.
he's like, no. It's like, but I love my mama.
But I love my mama. Yeah, that's so funny. Such
a good delivery.
So good. And and that's actually, so all of them I thought were actually pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
considering
So-
that
And- but they're-
Surprisingly
they're not
good.
actors, and Michael Jordan especially was very
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Because keep in mind, for half of this movie, he's on a green screen reacting
Yeah.
to God knows what.
Oh, yeah.
and he's doing it.
There's only one time where his reactions felt very off to me, and it was during the basketball game at the end. Like, I think it was kind of when they're after they take the secret stuff. And there's this like really strange cut after Sam and Elmer shoot the teeth out of one of them.
Oh, the
Oh,
Pulp
And there's this,
Fiction
like,
reference?
There's this,
Oh,
like,
that was so good.
Yeah, there's
I
this,
never
like,
got that one.
Very,
I didn't get that either yet at the
Very
time.
awkward, like hard cut.
Yeah.
To something else that happens, and then there's this close up on Michael's face, and his reaction is kind of very off and weird, and it doesn't fit in with what was happening either before or after that reaction.
But that's more like a post-production thing versus
yeah,
like
I feel
his
like it was just
faults.
an insert because it was a real tight close up. It was just his face and then some like a plate of animation behind him.
Yeah.
Like not even animation, it was probably like still
Yeah.
like illustration.
That Pulp Fiction reference though was like I laughed
Yeah.
so hard at that. And there's also that one scene where the camera is tracking along the bench and they're all like really messed up.
Yeah.
You see
Yeah.
that one like fully cooked chicken
Yeah.
that's on like it's got like an IV drip.
Yeah.
And then,
And then poor Tweety is in an iron lung.
and you see Wayne Knight sitting at the end of the bench like praying that he's gonna get picked. Oh my god. That was
Wayne
so
Knight in
funny.
this is so good.
Yeah.
He's
Oh,
so annoying.
he's so
like,
annoying.
But that's like a Wayne Knight character.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's his character
because
trait.
he's annoying but so sweet.
Yeah.
He's very he's a
My
very
favorite
sweet
part
man.
every time I've watched this
That
is like
little mouse?
no,
Oh, yeah.
no, it's when the owner of the Barons is like Polak, and then he tells Polak to come over and he's like, don't let anybody talk to Michael, and then he like tries to like go into the dugout and then he just falls
Oh yeah,
into the
he
dugout.
falls.
Well, I do love that whole scene when the catcher is like,
yeah.
outside tight, don't swing.
Yeah,
You know?
when he's like giving him the
and you see-
pitches.
and Jordan's just like, Okay.
Okay. And I'm like, how does the ref not hear them?
Well, I don't know. Is
I don't baseball either.
could the umpire? I mean, the umpire doesn't care what they say. They trash talk sometimes. Maybe he's only like, it's not against the rules of baseball for the catcher to help the baseball the batter, is it?
I don't
know if the umpire would really.
so. But
So you're not supposed to do it, but that doesn't mean that
because it's a team.
yeah.
I know. But I do like. It's just a good movie. It's just
it was funny. I mean, it was genuinely funny.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's just Looney Tunes.
Yeah, I think
just classic.
I think my note for, like, I'm skipping to the does it hold up part right now.
Yeah.
But my note for does it hold up is, did the Looney Tunes ever not hold up? Except for those racist characters that they had, like, back in the, like, early days with, like, the housekeeper, the black housekeeper, who was, like, always chasing Sylvester out of the house when he's trying to get Tweety Bird.
Oh, I don't remember that character.
You don't remember, like, there's, like, a lot
I know
of,
that there's
like,
a couple
there's some,
of,
like, racist
and then they
episodes.
and then they like release them on like a DVD, and they have like a disclaimer, not a disclaimer, but like a disclaimer up front, like being like, this is what was around at that time, like now it's different. And so, but they put it out there to be like, this is what
this is what happened.
Yeah.
But like, I'm like, oh, the Looney Tunes ever don't hold up.
They're just they're iconic characters. I really love. I wrote it down. It's just Daffy kissing his butt.
I was just gonna bring
with
that
the
up.
WB
The Warner
logo.
Brothers thing, like full on French kisses.
Yeah,
his
it's
butt.
just like it's so ridiculous.
And
it's so
and
funny.
they're like, when they first get to the basketball, like the court, and they're like, we've got balls.
Yeah.
He just opens up the locker and it's
And
just,
just all the balls.
And then
fly.
and then they're like, spit shine,
Yeah,
and those
spit
spitting, and then
shine.
like Taz like starts spinning around, and then like when he's done, he's like lemony fresh. It was so. I mean, it's funny. It was stupid in this very smart Looney Tunes sort of comedy. You know,
And like,
it's that same sort of Muppet comedy of like totally preposterous.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, absurdist, just like loony, one might say.
yeah. I do like the fact that it's kind of canon in this, that the Looney Tunes, whenever you're watching a Looney Tunes cartoon, they're performing it live for you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I was always like, as a kid, that's what's happening. I'm gonna watch the Looney Tunes, and they're gonna just leave.
Yeah, that was great when he calls the union meeting, and then they just walk off. Oh man, I want to believe that. Speaking of Bill Murray, because I remember like when I was young thinking this is weird. That I don't think I'd ever
have
seen
a fun
anything.
fact about that.
Okay, so I remember just thinking that like I don't think at that point I'd seen anything so meta before, and I don't know that I'd seen anybody who I was already familiar with as an actor playing themselves.
Yeah.
And so like Bill Murray specifically, because I was not a sports person. I did not watch basketball. So everybody else, the superstars that they were, I was only aware of them sort of tangentially as sports people.
Yeah.
But Bill Murray, I knew.
Yeah.
You know? And so like when he shows up, he's like, da, 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 da. I want to believe that Bill Murray, whenever he appears in like in a room, does that.
It just does that.
Yeah, but like to me, it was always weird. It's like, at least like more recently, as I watched this, I'm like, why does Bill Murray want to be in the NBA so much when he is a very, very well-known Cubs fan? Like,
And a golfer too.
yeah, he's like known for being a super fan of the Cubs, which
Cubs
is baseball.
is baseball. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. But
Oh, you got to put some money on the Cubbies.
But the reason that he is in this, his appearance, not the reason he's in this, but his appearances are a reference to a series of commercials he did in the 90s, where he tries and fails to become an NBA player. And this whole film is based on commercials of Michael Jordan and Bugs Bunny playing basketball.
Interesting.
Really? Mm-hmm. Because like we were talking about, this is a weird.
It's a
movie.
weird
like it's a weird
crossover.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the whole thing is based on
Some Nike ads.
I don't remember. I think it might be Nike ads, but there's also a ton, like Stan references, like in one breath,
Air
every
Jordans
single
and
Michael Jordan commercial that he ever
And merchandise
Yeah.
specifically.
It's like,
Yeah.
and while he's doing that, he's holding a cup of McDonald's soda.
Wait, no, yeah, doesn't he say like, all right,
get
lace
your-
up your Jordans, eat your Wheaties.
Yeah, it's come on, Michael, it's
Well,
game
pick up
time.
a Big Mac on the way.
Here, I have the exact quote. It's game time. Slip on your hands, lace up your Nikes, take your Wheaties and your Gatorade, and we'll grab a Big Mac. A Big Mac on the way to the ballpark.
Almost did it there. Almost got it.
I just want to. It's like imagine Garth from Wayne's World. It's like people only do anything if they get paid. It's just really sad.
Yeah.
Jeez.
It is a Nike's ad. A Nike ad where Bugs Bunny and Michael Jordan face off against Marvin and Alien Henchmen.
Interesting.
And then the alien henchmen became the Monstars.
I think so,
guess.
but I think it was like in the Marvin the Martian cartoons, there's like other henchmen that look like Marvin, right?
No, there was that big red fella, that big red furry guy.
Yeah, the monster guy.
Yeah.
But I think it was like other maybe I've never watched these commercials, but I don't think that the henchmen in the Nike commercials were the same as the Monstars.
I vaguely remember those commercials.
Yeah, because I think those commercials were like before I had memory of watching television, and most of the television that I watched was PBS.
Right.
So
Which was supported by viewers like you.
no commercials.
You know?
Nice.
God, yeah. This movie brought back so many memories of like things that I had totally forgotten that I remembered. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh,
I have a fun thing that I noticed. I looked it up. This is the number 4 known for listing for Dan Castellaneta. Just for his small little appearance at that
Really?
Knicks
Next to
Suns
Patricia
game.
Heaton?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is his number 4. Most like if you go to his IMDb page,
Yeah.
it's Simpsons, the Simpsons movie, something else, and this.
Yeah.
That's weird.
And I'm like,
hilarious.
why would this be number 4
I know he's
for
in for
him?
like 2 seconds. He's got like 2 lines. I also, this is the one Joe would be interested in this. At the end, when Bill Murray shows up,
Yeah.
and then I forget what Danny DeVito's character's name is.
Oh, I already called that out when we were talking about Ghostbusters 2.
Oh.
I didn't know Dan Aykroyd was in this picture.
Yeah.
I said that in the Ghostbusters
I
episode.
had no idea what the hell you were talking about. At
Yeah,
least
I was
must
like,
not have.
I was like, every time I see Dan Aykroyd in this movie, I can't help but think of Danny DeVito in Space Jam, saying when Bill Murray walks on, I didn't know Dan Aykroyd was.
Dan Aykroyd was in this
picture.
It's one of my favorite.
I laughed so hard when I watched that. When I saw that bit.
Yeah, as a kid, I had no idea who the fuck Dan Aykroyd was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because
Of course not. Yeah.
And so I think that was the first time I ever even heard the name Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah.
And then later in life, I was like, oh, it's that guy.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so funny.
Yeah. So I was like, I did get that joke because I didn't know who the fuck.
Yeah,
Dan Aykroyd
I didn't
was.
get that joke until like maybe 10 years ago.
Yeah.
When I was little, I got that. When I was 11 years old, I got that joke and then totally forgot about it. And so when it appeared again, watching this, it was like rediscovering an old
it was pretty
friend.
good.
It was
And because
hilarious.
like he's like, oh, I'm friends with the producer.
Yeah.
Dropped off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like all of like in that moment, I think that was like a 30-second thing of where all of Ghostbusters just collided.
Yeah. So God, that's so funny. Speaking of all these basketball players, I remember Muggsy Bogues because I remember him being famous for
Being really short.
And and it's not like short the way some basketball players are, where it's like, oh look, that's the shortest guy on the team, but he's 6'2". Okay, but like he was very short.
Yeah, and I like that when they're sitting in the gym before Michael comes, he goes, "I'm just a short guy now." That's all I'm known for.
He's like, at least you guys are still tall.
I don't remember the player's name, but that really tall, gangly white guy.
I looked him up. His name is Sean Bradley. He is 7'6".
Yeah, he always was like, I'm like, wow.
Yeah. Is there any fun facts for this?
Oh, I have a ton of fun facts. I have some recastings for Stan. Are we all through talking though?
There was one thing that I noticed at the very end that I don't recall in the movie, but there's a credit in the section where they list all the songs that are in the film, and they credit "Merry Go Round Broke Down," which I didn't hear in the film, but is
It's not on the soundtrack because I know the entire discography of that soundtrack.
It must be in the film, and I just didn't notice it. But that's the record that Roger Rabbit's playing in the bar when he's entertaining everybody, and he's like, "I feel no pain," and he keeps like breaking the record skips, and he keeps breaking the plates on his head, and Judge Doom walks in, and they're hiding Roger, and he's like looking around, and he says, he picks up the record and he goes, "Merry-go-round broke down. Quite a loony selection for a bunch of drunken reprobates."
Interesting.
And so I was just kind of like,
How do you even know that? This is some thing.
That's how my brain works.
I guess, man. That is wild.
Anyway, but I just noticed that, and it's like, oh, that's kind of interesting that like this would be in this movie, but I didn't notice it. I just saw it at the end.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But
I
yeah,
do have to say also the last line of the movie, one of my favorite lines, is just Bill Murray going, "Let's go Bulls!" And he's
so sad.
He's so sad. He's like, "Let's go Bulls!" I love it. I don't know why, but
Yeah.
it just always gets me.
Bill Murray can read the phone book and be funny.
Oh,
True,
yeah.
very true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, talking about the bad effects. There's not very many bad effects
But
in this.
there's just a couple points where it's like,
There's one that I wrote down. I never realized, and I think it's because the last time I watched this in more of an HD format was on my tiny TV, and this time I was watching it on my big TV. Stan blowing up at the very end looks so bad. It looks like a terrible animation of a human being. He looks like one of those 90s CGI Uncanny Valley almost kind of things.
Yeah.
And I was like, God, I never noticed how bad this looked.
I did think about that. I did notice that.
And I was like very upset because I was like, I used to think this was the most amazing effect ever.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of movies when you go back now and you're like, ooh,
Yeah,
that's a little
but
rough.
again, I was always watching them in SD
Right.
on a same size TV as what I have now.
Right.
But it was on a VHS in SD, so it didn't translate the same as it does in HD now.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, that kind of was upsetting for me.
Yeah.
But I mean, the rest of the movie, the effects are still really great.
Yeah. Oh man, the movie's it is genuinely funny.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I feel like, I mean, I guess I can't really say this because we talked about the Brendan Fraser Looney Tunes movie. I was like, anything with the Looney Tunes is gonna have some good jokes. Like,
Yeah, I feel like I've seen that Brendan Fraser Looney Tunes movie, but I don't remember anything about it.
Yeah, but I mean, I just think the jokes. Yeah, I don't know. There's a classicness
Yeah.
to Looney Tunes and what they're doing
Yeah.
at this time.
Do you think that the LeBron James one coming out next year will be able to capture that essence?
You know what's interesting? LeBron James is actually really funny.
Yeah.
He's in. So Sarah and I were talking about this last night because he was in
Trainwreck.
Trainwreck, which
Yeah,
I've
he's
not seen,
fucking
but she
great.
said
He was great in Trainwreck.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you do want to borrow I have it on DVD, not Blu-ray, but if you want to borrow it, you can.
Sure.
I actually like that
It's
movie.
a fairly decent movie for Amy Schumer. I'm not a big Amy Schumer
It's a
fan.
Judd Apatow movie.
Like, was he in one scene?
No,
No,
he
he
plays Bill Hader's
Best friend.
client,
Well-
best friend. Yeah, like Bill Hader's his doctor, but they're also best friends.
And he plays LeBron James.
Yeah, he plays himself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because in the movie, Bill Hader is a sports doctor.
Yeah.
And he's LeBron James's
Yeah.
sports
Yeah,
doctor, but he's
so-
also his
Right.
best friend.
So if LeBron James is doing the same thing that Michael Jordan did in this, I think it would be pretty good.
Yeah.
And like if they, I don't know, maybe they could like try to get some of the old writing team for this back. That if they're still alive, I don't know, they probably are.
I feel like whatever they do with this new movie, this movie was lightning in a bottle in the truest sense
Yeah.
of the word. And I think that it's going to be sort of folly to try and, recreate that.
Yeah.
But
I
if they
think
have
it's
a
probably
new,
a nostalgia grab for people like us.
yeah, but I mean, if they have a new way in, if they
Yeah.
have a way in that sort of makes any sort of sense,
They may, like the way they did this with Michael Jordan's retirement to baseball.
Yeah.
They may do it with, didn't LeBron like briefly retire?
No.
he
No.
just changed teams.
He changed teams a couple times?
He changed teams a couple of times, and they were.
and people were
deals.
very upset.
Well,
when he
yeah,
left.
because it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I know there was like something that happened with LeBron and his career.
No, he's
I don't
made
follow
big shifts in his team.
the basketballs.
The basketballs? You don't follow
The
them.
Basketball Jones.
Basketball Jones.
I only follow the Basketball Jones.
That was such a good sequence. And then like when they're walking and they all hit their heads.
Yeah.
See, that's one of the pratfalls. I'm like, this is a kid's movie, but at the same time, I'm like, this is still really good.
That one I thought really worked. There were a couple that didn't.
No, like
But I thought that one was fun.
I think there was when they throw the ball at one of the players, like right after he gets his power sucked, and it bounces, or he throws the ball
And
and
it
it,
hits that
hits the
popcorn
popcorn
guy.
guy, and it's like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, that's bad.
See, that one actually worked for me only because like as soon as the popcorn guy goes down, it cuts to something else.
Yeah.
Versus like lingering on the fall.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? There were a couple of other pratfalls. Like actually the Wayne Knight one when he falls
Yeah.
off into the dugout. That one felt like like a
Oh yeah, it definitely
classic
feels like
children's movie.
yeah.
Pratfall.
But that one is also like that's a little nostalgia hit for me.
Yeah.
Whereas like when I was watching this, I'm like the popcorn guy. I'm like that's kind of dumb.
Yeah. I mean, I love when bad things happen to nobody's off screen. This is great.
I have one more little note. But this is only something that matters to me, is interesting to me. I think it's the NBA chairman, or maybe he's like an FBI or a cop. They don't really specify who this guy is, but it's like they're outside the Staples Center and they're like pulling the things down the Staples Center.
They're outside of the Forum in Inglewood, which is actually fairly close to my house.
I've been to the Forum.
I know you have.
Yeah.
But what's weird is it also, for the way they shot it, they made it look like it was like seaside, which it is not. and that was I just remember thinking like, oh, look at that, the ever changing weird ass geography of Hollywood in movies.
Yeah. Well, they're
Los
outside.
Angeles in movies.
They're pulling curtains down
Yes,
over a
yes,
center,
to
and there's like I don't know who it is. I think it's an NBA chairman. Maybe it's a cop, and they're
Yeah,
like
yeah.
announcing that they're not going to be playing any more NBA games.
Yep.
And one of I thought it was a reporter, but I looked it up on IMDb, and it says he's a police assistant. Is Coach Tugnut from Even Stevens? And I was like, oh, look at
That
that
is
guy.
the worst last name that anybody could ever have.
He's a really his character's great in Even Stevens. I love him. If you've never watched Even Stevens, it's a great show. It's actually a quality Disney show.
Yeah, I remember watching it when I was
But Coach
younger.
Tugnut is probably one of the best recurring guest
Please stop
characters.
saying that last name.
Tugnut.
No,
At least it's not Baby Peanut.
Baby Nut.
You said baby nut. That's what really
No,
got me.
because that's its real name, and I'm never saying it. It's always gonna be Baby Peanut from now on.
Whatever. Either way, let's just wipe it from our memories.
But anyways, I got some fun facts and I got some recastings.
All right.
Drop the beat.
Okay.
What the fuck? It's going off the rails.
I did not notice this. I need to rewatch to see this. But when flying towards Moron Mountain at the beginning, the monolith from 2001 can be seen in the very right edge of the frame floating in space.
Huh.
Never noticed.
Interesting.
I did not notice it. I think because when I was watching it on my big TV, it was kind of that portion of the screen was blocked by something on my table. But I may have to rewatch it and see if that's there. The US VHS release included a collector's coin inside the package that had the Toon Squad on one side and Monsters on the other, and I'm pretty sure I had that coin. But
I think I had that too.
because it was like a gold coin, and I would remember playing with it. I remember having something like that.
Speaking of the Monstars, when we're watching the credits go by, and there's that one bit where they're just showing like frames from the movie, at the end, and one of the Monstars, the big guy, after he got his pants ripped off and his ass was just like hanging out.
Oh yeah, and then Lola goes, "Nice butt,"
Yeah.
and I was looking at that. I'm like, what about the front? He's just flashing all the crowd.
Yes, he is, and I bet you he's proportional. But what's funny is Sarah. The way Sarah watches movies is like this,
On her
looking
phone.
down at her phone while the movie is on.
So had Sarah seen this movie before?
She had seen this movie
Okay.
before, but she hadn't seen it in forever, and
Yeah.
she also really enjoyed it. Like but she was also half paying attention the
Yeah.
way she always does. But she happened to be looking at the screen during the credits when his naked ass was on, and she goes, "He's not wearing any pants." And I was like, "See, you do miss stuff," because it's been like a constant sort of point of argument of like, you can maybe follow the thing, but you're missing shit.
Yeah.
She totally missed that.
That's
And I was like, "That was in the movie."
Now I have 3 facts specifically I pulled for Joe.
Oh,
The first one you might like, Johnny. When the Moron
but if
Mountain,
you don't, screw you.
when the aliens from Moron Mountain are disguised at the basketball game, they're wearing Tom Baker's scarf.
Oh.
Oh, how very interesting.
Yeah. After the game, Michael returns to the talent to the pros. There's the Muggsy says that the glowing ball contains the talent. Looks like something out of Star Trek. Ironically, Star Trek First Contact was released in theaters the following week.
Yeah, and that was a good ass movie. That was a good fucking movie.
And then the final one also has to do with aliens. The pseudoscientific names of the aliens from Moron Mountain blueprinted in the brainstorming session are, and these were never said in the movie, you can only find them on the credits. Wormius repulsus is the green one. Nutus grotius is the purple one. Dopus elongatus is the blue one.
Of course, is the blue one.
Rotundus temperamentus is the orange one, and Minimus wimpus is the magenta one. I thought Joe would really appreciate that because they are very scientific-esque names. See, all three of those were very Joe facts.
Joe-centric facts.
Those were great.
And then I have some recastings for Stan and Stan Podolak only.
Nice.
Joe Pitka wanted Michael J. Fox to play Stan, but he was overruled by the studios. Jason Alexander and Chevy Chase were also considered.
Huh.
I could see Jason Alexander for sure.
For sure.
Yes. But I get Seinfeld.
Yeah.
I can't see Michael J. Fox.
No.
not at all.
Michael J. Fox, I feel like, would not fit.
Well, he's such a big star.
Yeah.
Just
He's
too much
not-
confidence.
he's not-
Too much
yeah.
confidence.
Like, people would be like, oh, yeah, he's way too confident. Jason Alexander, I feel like, is kind of teetering on the edge of that.
You
But, like,
need the guy who would reasonably be last picked to play
Yeah.
basketball.
Like,
and
Chevy Chase, I feel like, would not have fit at all.
No, his sense of his comedy sense is totally different.
I also have a list of more that none of them fit either.
It would have been interesting though if they had Michael J. Fox because he was in another very famous basketball film, Teen Wolf, now available from Shout Factory.
Take out.
And none of these I feel like fit at all. George Clooney, Mel Gibson, Tom Cruise, Jim Carrey, Kevin Kline, Vincent D'Onofrio, Mike Myers, Vincent Pastore, Robert Hayes, Kevin Costner, Dennis Quaid, Robert De Niro, Bill Pullman, Billy Crystal, and Matthew Broderick were all considered.
For
For
Michael
what?
Jordan.
Stan Podolak.
Stan Podolak? Oh, wow.
Stan Podolak.
There's
You
that,
have to say it like that. That's how he says it. That's how he introduces himself to everybody.
That makes no sense. Honestly,
None of them.
Considered
Robert
as like
De
people
Niro.
sitting around a table saying just names.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
that's
It's
ridiculous.
literally people just talking about every single star that was like every male star that was big at the
working
time.
at the
Like
time, yeah.
you want them for Stan? You want them
Podolak?
for Stan Podolak?
That makes no
The
sense.
bumbling. Like out of this list, maybe Matthew Broderick.
I mean, I guess George Clooney was maybe still on ER at the time. Like he
Yeah,
wasn't
but
George
he's too
Clooney.
suave.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
even then, George Clooney was too suave.
Yeah.
Vincent D'Onofrio.
He could have done it if he brought
Vincent
his...
D'Onofrio could have done it because he is a chameleon. I feel
Because
like
he could do anything. All right.
Vincent D'Onofrio can do anything. After being the bug alien, he can do anything.
And Kingpin.
He's pretty good. Yeah.
But like Dennis Quaid, Mike Myers, Robert De Niro, Bill Pullman,
Yeah. That doesn't make
Billy Crystal.
makes no sense.
Billy Crystal maybe, but still, I feel like
He's
out
more
of
of an agent than a publicist, Billy Crystal.
yeah, he could have been like a slimy agent.
Yeah.
But Matthew Broderick, I feel like out of all of these, this second list, Matthew Broderick would be the only one I feel
also,
like could have done it. Because, like,
yeah.
like the what's that? Not student body president.
Election.
Election. I feel like it's his character in that. I've only seen like a couple clips. I feel like his character in that is kind of like a bumbling.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
he's pretty pathetic in that movie.
Yeah. I just think that all of those names are so big, they kind of would have monstered. the
Yeah, it would have
movie.
been like
it
would have been like Jim Carrey as Stan Podolak, Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's top billing
Bugs Bunny.
Michael Jordan.
Yeah. You have to have those two. That's why I think Wayne Knight was probably the perfect choice.
Yeah, I think he was. He was great.
I do also, random aside, when I think it's the alien spaceship first, or I don't know when it is. Anyways, they crash through.
The Barons game?
I don't know. No, not the Barons game. At some point, they crash through in a ship. They crash through the cement in front of a Piggly Wiggly's.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, they go over the Barons game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that was the first time I've ever seen Piggly Wiggly's, and I thought it was a joke.
But it's a real
Oh,
place.
yeah.
I know. It wasn't until I was a grown ass adult that someone was like, "No, that's a chain of like supermarkets
Yeah.
or whatever." And I was like, "What?
Yeah.
You're telling me that's not just a joke for one shot of Space Jam?" I don't think so. I had to look it up. I didn't believe
Yeah.
it.
Oh, man.
Piggly Wiggly.
Well,
So good.
does it hold up? I feel like we already answered this question,
yes,
but
yes, it
It was
does.
great.
It's
Yeah.
pretty
It was
fucking
so
great.
much fun.
yeah. I mean, I still go back to this. I'm never not going to not go back to this movie. I love it so much.
Yeah.
I love it so much.
Sarah was like singing along to I Believe I Can Fly, and I was like, wait, isn't that
That's
pedophile?
R. Kelly.
And
Yeah,
she
no,
was
it's
like,
a problem. I did make a note of it because it's such a huge song.
Yeah.
That's I mean, it's synonymous with this movie.
Yeah.
People know it. I mean,
Yeah.
and it's like it's R. Kelly, and you're just like, oh god.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sarah's
Well-
like, this was before we
This
knew
is
about
before
him,
I
so
knew
it's
him,
okay.
yeah.
Well, one of the fun facts was at the Space Jam website that was live in 1996 is still workable, and I went to it.
Oh.
And there is a section for the music.
Yeah.
And you can go to see a list of radio stations that are playing the first single off of the soundtrack, I Believe I Can Fly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I was like, ooh.
Nice.
Well, you guys, let us know what you think of Space Jam. Good responses only. On Instagram or Twitter at Nostalgitis, NOSTLGITIS, or on email nostalgiaeffectpod@gmail.com.
Are we popular enough that we're getting bad responses too?
I
That
don't
we can
know.
be choosy about our
No,
responses?
no. Beggars can't be choosers.
It's a TikTok meme where you go up to somebody and you say you ask them a question, you say wrong answers only.
Yeah. It's a thing, Joe.
Okay.
I watched 2 hours of TikTok last night.
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ.
But anyways, you guys, don't forget to be
Explains
kind
why she's bleeding from
and
her eyes.
rewind.
Slam!